convince Gopal Bhatt that he had become a ghost. So he told everybody in the kingdom, is whenever you meet Gopal Bhatt, tell him he's become a ghost. So the king said, oh, you become a ghost. Gopal Bhatt went out, and everybody said, oh my God, Gopal Bhatt's become a ghost. He's become a ghost. And after a while, he thought, I've become a ghost. I died. So many stories like that. I think it in Hindi culture is called birbal. Birbal, right? Similar stories. But in Bengal it's called Gopal Bhatt.
Okay.
So I think we should have given the name Gopal Bhatt. Because he brings humor to everything. You can't be serious. Isn't it? Even you may have the most serious Guru Puja.
He was dancing in one of the funeral rituals. At the cemetery.
At the cemetery?
Yes. We were singing Hare
At the
Krishna.
cremation?
Yeah, we were singing Hare Krishna. We did the cremation and everything, and he was dancing. And Prabhu said, and Rasbihari said, he's a Mukh Purush, don't worry about it.
Can you imagine someone's cremation?
Cemetery where they raise the body?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was dancing there.
Because the tune of the Hare Krishna was so, he just got.
Well, it definitely shows that join the movement and be happy. Right?
Yeah.
He's very happy. Well, it's a good example of what a devotee is. Maybe not an intellectual devotee, but no politics. He doesn't do politics. He's very straightforward. So, anyone have any questions about Krishna consciousness? Otherwise, we're getting ready to take our shot soon. We were up late last night. It was a wonderful program, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was really amazing. It's really amazing, wasn't it?
Yes.
So many people taking up Krishna consciousness. It shows that actually the important thing is to go, like Rasbihari said, to go where people are. Because you can't expect people to come to the temple.
No.
Most successful preaching we've had in Fiji is where there's no temple. Because, the temple requires so much effort. I love temples too. I love to go see the deities and everything. But the preaching should be where people are. And then eventually they will come to the temple. But, yeah, the house preaching and programs in the villages, it's amazing. How this community here in this area has increased dramatically in the last 5 years. I think since Rasbihari moved from Mombasa, it was about 5 years ago, wasn't it?
2013.
Yes.
Yeah, about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember we hardly had anybody here at Nanda. In fact, nobody, almost nobody. And then to start with this village preaching, and now we have 200?
Yes.
200. Last night another 14 were initiated. It's just, shocking to me. Anyway, Lord Chaitanya is very pleased with all of you. Because the more devotees we make, the more Lord Chaitanya smiles upon us. The more Krishna is relieved from his anxiety over the plight of the conditioned souls, the more people we bring to Prabhupada. That's the whole point. Our strategic mission statement should be more devotees, happier devotees. More devotees, but real devotees. Not just dress in dhoti and eat meat the next day.
Last year in Brisbane, and after Brisbane we can see there are lots of thousands of people there.
Yeah.
And in India city too, lots of people.
Many
India
of
bar.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to go everywhere. Your team should go everywhere.
They like.
Bring the people in. Yeah, there's very little preaching going on in many places because people are just concentrating on the center of the temple. But our business is to go into people's homes and make them Krishna.
More than 2 hours preaching.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good example for all of us. Rather than spending a lot of money on building temples, spending money on going places and making friends, and cultivating people. The whole point is we make friends and then they become devotees. Yeah.
People, I don't know why people fed up in 1 2 hours. They want only 1 hour. But we, 1 hour is nothing to us. 2 hours is nothing to us.
I know.
I don't
1
know
o'clock in the
why.
morning. 2 o'clock in the morning. For most of us, it's a blast. We have, for most of us, like me, we still have material bodies, so. You have a spiritual body. You go 5 hours. Is that? For me, you know. Anyway.
But I love yesterday everybody here,
Oh, there's Rusty, our hero. So we're going to give a mantra to everyone after prasad, right? All right, so when we take prasad, because we got a lot of mantras to give. What? Yeah, in the afternoon at the dinner. What about the low token ones?
Yeah, they'll be coming.
They're coming for the dinner. Okay.
Gurudev, I don't have a question. I just
Yeah.
I would like want to know maybe your last wish or your
My last
expectation.
wish?
Your expectation. Your expectation towards
Very
your
mean, going on,
disciples.
yeah.
No, we never wanted.
Yeah.
Your expectation towards your disciples. What do you expect us to be?
Well, expectation of the disciples, you cooperate. Like Prabhupada said, your love will be tested by your cooperation. There's always a tendency in this material world for separatism, which is mode of passion and ignorance. The tendency to false pride. That we can put aside some of our own, pride, personal interests, and not worry about being the controller. See, actually, politics comes from the whole concept that Ishwanoham Ahambhogi Siddhoham Balavan Sukhi, that I am the controller. But actually, we are Prakriti, we're not Purusha. And I know there's a lot of anxiety about cooperation, what will happen to me, I don't know. Somehow or other, there's a here in Fiji, there's a big controlling spirit. Isn't it? I don't know why. Maybe because your parents were very controlling or something like that. You can trace it out from your childhood or something. Isn't it? No, I don't think it's in the genes. I don't think it's genetic at all. I think it's because when you were young, you didn't listen to your father. It was like Yamaraj is coming or something. The father was a representative of Yamaraj, right? I think it's because of, I think it has a lot to do with the discipline, heavy discipline everybody had when they were young. That's what's in my analysis. It's not genetic. Because I meet plenty of people from India and America, and it's different. So it's you're used to working in an authoritarian type of environment, and so everybody wants to be the authority. And so, not everybody, but a lot of people want to be the authority. So it's an austerity to actually cooperate. And trust Krishna. And the reason we may not want to cooperate is because we have some anxiety about our own personal safety or self or something like that. Or sometimes even the reason we don't want to be honest is because when we were young we got chastised for doing something wrong when we admitted it. And sometimes I see a lot here in the culture, isn't it? That the thing is, the culture I was brought up in, if you did something wrong and you admitted it, then you got forgiven. But here for a minute and you still can't get on this, right? Am I right? He said, well, I'm sorry I did it. All right, I'll teach you. You never do it again. I'll make it so you don't sit for a week. Does that ever happen? I know. I know. So therefore people are less likely to reveal their minds, even in confidence. You know, they'll hold things in. And so it creates a distance between people, so people have a hard time communicating with each other. And if you can't communicate with each other, then you can't cooperate. So as Srila Rupa Goswami says, you know, our method of spreading Krishna consciousness is Tadati Pratigranati Guyamakyati Prichati especially Guyamakyati Prichati, which means revealing the mind and trusting others. Because we tend to get very defensive. I've seen that. I mean, that's the one thing that's holding Fiji back, because if I was talking to Sanatana about this last night. I'm not gonna, but I was talking to Sanatana, and you know, people have to learn just to meet together and discuss strategy and give and take. You know, give and take means, you know, hear different ideas, change their own ideas, and ultimately go along with what's decided. And not everybody can be a big cheese. Yeah, that's like, in Hawaii they say the big kahuna. Kahuna means chief in Hawaiian. Yeah. Kahuna. So, I mean, for the young people it's easier. I think for all of you who are, you know, younger, it's easier. But when the older generation, it's much harder, because you're brought up in a more like dynamic culture when you're younger here. But the other culture is not based on cooperation. So anyway, so what would please me is you can cooperate for spreading Krishna consciousness. work together, which you're all doing. You're a good example. I mean, I don't. I basically don't see any politics in your community here. In other places, you know, in Fiji, there's where you're dealing with older people. There's quite a bit of politics. I mean, I think there's one. I'll just give an example without using names. You know, in one place, if you disagree with someone, they'll say, well, I'm not going to serve the deities anymore. You know, they go and strike against Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You call that industrial action or strike? What do you call it? Union. Union. Yeah, union. But when the union goes on strike, what do they call it? Strike. In Australia, they call it industrial action. It's different. In America, we call it strike. So I mean, it's crazy. I mean, just like one day I was in Lambasa many years ago, and you know, people didn't get along with other people. It happened to be my Vyas Puja, and I said to some disciples, you know, the Vyas Puja was in your place, and I said, then I was sitting in Vrindavan Chandra's house in Lambasa, the city of Lambasa. And I asked, why don't you come to my Vyas Puja? And I said, no. He said, you're disciples, why don't you come? I said, because I don't get along with certain people. And I said, well, if Prabhupada came, and even if Ravana was holding the program, I'd go to see him. I said, the other people you don't get along with them, they're not as bad as Ravana. I mean, it's this party spirit and politics will destroy us. But you know, I mean, you don't have the problem here. So never let it enter into your yatra here. Just work together lovingly, and there will be disagreements. Just like, you know, when people get married, it's not that they agree with each other all the time, do they? You probably never have disagreements. Your choices. Yes, sir. Whatever you say. Your wish is my command. It's like, you ever hear that story of Aladdin's lamp?
Yes.
Where you rub the lamp and the genie comes
Yes.
out. So the man is thinking the wife is like the genie. What do you want to eat? So it's like a couple stays together and they cooperate. They work it out, you know. Nowadays, of course, they just have divorces, which is horrible. It destroys culture. Divorce is actually one of the worst things for the culture, for Vedic culture. Anyway, so we work things out. We have disagreements. It's normal. Prabhupada talked about unity in diversity. In other words, we're unified, we have different opinions, but ultimately we agree, you know, whatever, democratically, whatever, to work it out and work together. We don't go on strike. You know, because we don't have a disagreement with someone. I've seen that in some temples here. They have a disagreement. Oh, I'm not going to serve the deities. And it goes on for 4 years they're not serving the deities. I had that years ago, not with the present administration, but years ago in Lotuka it was like that. You know, because they didn't like the temple president for some reason. Not now. Now it's completely different. That they said, well, Krishna's there. Come to the temple and serve Krishna. Nobody's going to kill you. You know, even if you don't get along with the temple president, Krishna's there. Don't you think Krishna's there? And then they just said, well, Krishna's in my heart too. And these are disciples you're talking to also. You know, it's not just like anybody. So what can I do? What can I do? You know, you gotta give up a little of your false ego, really, please. Isn't it? False ego is telling us, I am mine. People don't think I'm God. The man wants to be God. The woman wants to be Radha. Anyway, it doesn't work like that. Or, you know, and also another thing is sometimes when people get power, it goes to their head. The Prophet said one time, if you go to Lanka, you'll become Ravan. So sometimes if some people get power, just they think they are that power. They identify with that position. It becomes a further upadi, or designation, isn't it? Like, I am the GBC. Chairman.